Hello learners, welcome to this session. The topic which we are discussing today is the role of informal sector in waste management. And I must tell you that this particular topic is related to the course MEV 051, that is Overview of Waste Management. And this is a compulsory course under the Postgraduate Diploma in Waste Management program, which has been recently launched from January 2025 session. So learners, you are aware and you must be knowing about the critical issue of improper waste disposal and the necessity of sustainable waste management. The growing waste crisis, not only the volume but the nature of the waste, is posing threat to environment, to our health, and in this regard we always look for the solutions. There are solutions which are regulatory, there are scientific solutions, technological solutions, and the implementation of the various programs and the various solutions that we bring require the participation of various stakeholders. One of the important stakeholders in waste management, or I must say one of the key player in waste management, is the informal sector. Do we know enough about it? We have seen them. We have seen children, women, rag pickers there on the streets, along the sides of the roads, on the heaps of the mountain of the garbage that we see. We have seen these people. And we normally call them kachre wala, kude wala. All this is the informal sector. But have we ever recognized that what is their importance? So in today's session, we will be knowing more about the informal workers, informal sector, what does it comprise of, who all are there in this, what is their importance in waste management, what do they do, what are their functions, and what the challenges are there. How can we mainstream them? How can we bring them into the formal structure? And what is the road ahead? So let us now begin with today's topic. Learners, first of all, let us understand what is informal sector. What is formal and what is informal? See, when it comes to any sector or any people who are working in an informal environment, that means that particular setup is unregulated, which is not authorized, which is not licensed, and which is a small entity. So in the waste management sector, there are various types of the players. They are not registered under any body. They are not regulated. They are not governed by any particular sector, but just they are working informally. So, the informal sector in waste management comprises of individuals and small-scale entities that collect, sort, process, and sell recyclables and other valuable materials without formal contracts or recognition by government agencies. These are maybe the individuals, the women, the children, the men. As a side business, they have taken up this thing. They collect paper, glass, plastics, metals. They are collecting. They are giving it to some recycler, which may be a small unit. And in turn, they get some money out of it. For example, you have the Raddi Wala, which comes to your home and he collects the papers, the old newspapers from your home. And then it gives to the middleman. So that is an informal sector. Likewise, not only in the individuals, there may be small entities, small group of people working together, so that in a particular locality or in a particular city even also, they collect all these recyclables in a bigger or smaller amount and they hand it over to some middleman or to some recycler or to some scrap dealer. So they are working as such. They are not registered. They are not given any kind of protection. They do not receive any benefits. Or according to international labor organizations, these type of structures, these are the informal sector, which is not covered by any government agencies, and there is no contract signed between the government body or any private body or these workers. So in the waste management sector, if you look around and if we go by the data also, most of the recycling is done by the informal sector only. When you talk about the electronic waste, this becomes altogether more important. The informal sector is very active when it comes to recycling of the electronic waste. Similarly, in the smaller cities also, you must have seen children, they are having a bag, old bag on their shoulders, and they just pick up. Maybe they are picking the glass bottles, they are picking up the plastic bottles, anything which they find which can be of use to the middlemen, they just collect it, give away, and in turn they get the money out of it. So that is the informal sector. And if you look at the characteristics, that what does it comprise of? So the characteristics of the informal workers are such that they are self-employed and there is unregistered work. They do it on their own. That is their self-employment. They do not come under any registered body. And therefore, there is no legal or social protection. So in case if they fall sick, if they injure themselves by collecting the garbage, or if there is any mishappening which is occurring, so in that time there is no protection because it is not mentioned. They are not covered under any form of the work environment. So there is no social protection, there is no legal protection, and therefore they are generally poor. Why it happens is that many of the times they actually do not know the worth of the materials which they are collecting. They just collect it, they give it away, and in turn they receive very less amount. And also the money which they get out of it is always variable. It keeps on changing. Sometimes the weather is not good. You can imagine the situation in a city, for example, if we take. In the cities, many of the times there are heavy rains, or there is scorching heat, or there is some other calamity happening. They don't get any work, they don't get any money because they are not able to move around in such situations. So therefore, they are generally very poor, they don't have any protection. And in this, the gender and the age dynamics also plays a very important role. In the informal sector, whether it is waste collection or sorting or disposing through some unscientific methods, it is mainly the women and the children. See, men come from the rural areas, come to the cities in search of employment. Many other times it happens that they get employed and get paid very less. So the women, the children, they are made to work in such environments. So mostly women and children, they are collecting the waste materials, and therefore you will find a lot of women and children exposed or are indulged in the informal waste management setups. There is a health risk, there is a safety risk, because there have been a lot of studies which have been proven that they are not having any protective garments, they do not have gloves, they do not have any mask, they handle the waste stream manually and get exposed to various types of infectious agents. Many a times they burn their fingers are cut, they inhale various toxic gases, and all this is done just to collect something valuable if they get it from the trash. That is the whole business. So because we know there is a lot of potential of various waste streams that we are throwing away in the landfills. And when they collect it and give it, they get some amount of money of it, and there is a social stigma and marginalization. So because of this, now this is a whole informal sector which is contributing a lot in waste management, but there is no social status. They are marginalized, and despite the efforts which they are making, they do not get any recognition. So these are, and when you look at all these characteristics, definitely you will be having the picture of some or the other waste picker or waste collector which you must have come across. The person who comes to your homes and collects the garbage, that also is a part of the informal sector only. In big cities, yes, many other times it happens that there is some sort of a collaboration, or they are tied up with the municipal corporation, because nowadays there is public private partnership coming. But in the small cities and at various places in the bigger cities as well, they are not recognized anywhere. So these are the few characteristics of the informal workers. Now let us see who are there, because they as per their roles, they may be there may be of different types. For example, waste pickers. Who is the waste picker? Which collects material from the streets, landfills and the garbage bins, which is a common sight. You must have seen that when you go across, or when you move out, or when you come across any landfill, you must have seen children, women, they are collecting. Whatever you are throwing, they are collecting. They are putting in their bags the plastic bottles which you have thrown away, or if they find some good amount of paper also, they are keeping it in their bags. They are collecting. So they are the waste pickers. They pick from wherever they get. They are found in the public places also. They are found in the streets also. They are found in the various markets also. You will find them. And in the early morning hours, if you come across, if you travel, you will find that they are busy collecting the valuables from the waste streams. Then there are recyclers. Now, recycling is a business which is authorized at a larger scale with a huge investment, but at a lower level also there are informal recyclers. They recycle paper, they recycle plastic, they recycle the electronic items, because by the application of the rudimentary techniques, by the use of the outdated equipments and technologies, they know how to recycle. And in this process, what they do, that they make use of the locally available materials, and they recycle the market potential of which is also not very much. So either recycling is done for their own use, or for their own selling into the market, or sometimes what happens is that they recycle a part of it and then they give it to the bigger recycling units. That is also because the bigger recycling units also require some sort of the raw material which is clean, which is segregated. So here comes the role of these informal recyclers, because the waste pickers, what the waste stream they are bringing in, that may not be segregated, that may not be clean, that may not be suitable for recycling. So here comes the role of the recyclers, which are informal. They will clean it, they will put it into a different shape, they will apply some sort of solution, some technology, and then they will make it fit to be used by the bigger recycling units. Then we have the scrap dealers. There are different scrap dealers in the cities which you find them, where lohe ka saman you will find, or kagaz gatta. There are shops where it is written that you can bring your old stuff over here. So scrap dealers actually act as an intermediary between the waste picker and the recycling industry, which is a bigger industry, and they purchase the collected materials in bulk from the waste pickers, and sometimes they sort it, they bundle it, and then they recycle it to the recycling unit. So they are at an upper hand than the waste pickers and the recyclers. Then we have the itinerant buyers. The itinerant buyers are those which are always moving. They move from one place to another, picking up the trash, picking up the recycled materials. They take it from the household, they take it from the small markets, they take it from the industries, and mostly the paper, plastic, metals, electronic items, glass materials, all these are taken from one place to another, and in this process they either resell it to the scrap dealers or the recycling units. So basically the informal sector in the waste management comprises of broadly these four type of players. There are waste pickers, there are recyclers, there are scrap dealers, and there are itinerant buyers. Now, at this juncture, what is happening is that all this type of work is done in an unregulated manner. It is not licensed, it is not controlled, but it is a unregulated manner, and therefore it is important for us to see that how, in order to make a waste management industry a viable one, in order to see that it really becomes an industry, it is very important for us to see that they are streamlined, that they are brought into the mainstream. So why is the informal sector you can say, why is it attracting so many people to work? What is the need that people work in unsafe conditions? They work and in turn get very little monetary benefits. What are the main drivers? If we see, one of the important driver is economic necessity. As I told earlier also, there is a migration. There is a migration from the rural areas to urban areas. In the urban areas, most of the times suitable job opportunities are not available to, so that they are able to survive, so that they are able to live better. In those circumstances, this becomes a option for them. It becomes a livelihood source for them, that they become waste recycler or the waste collector. Then the waste management, as it comes under the purview of the municipal bodies, urban local bodies, they do not have any such mechanism where they can bring in the informal waste collectors, informal waste management. So there's a weakness in the sense that the formal waste management structure is almost non-existent. Because when it comes to waste management, we have invested in the technology, we have invested in somewhat in the transportation of the waste, and very less attention has been given to the players in it, that who will do all this works. And therefore what is happening is that those who are working in these sectors, they are working informally and they are not trained how to handle the different waste streams. So therefore, in the absence of a strong formal waste management system, these type of people, these type of workers are becoming more in numbers, and they are providing their services in an unsafe environment. Growing urbanization is one of the reasons, because cities are expanding, consumption is growing, there is a huge amount of waste generation. We know this very well. There is enormous increase in the waste streams, particularly plastics, papers, electronic items, and there is a huge potential. People are seeing this as a huge business opportunity. So at the time when waste management startups are thriving, waste management industry is thriving, so they are relying on whom? They are relying on the informal waste management systems only. So from where the raw material will come? Who is going to the streets and collect the different type of recyclables? So here we are relying on these type of workers which are in the informal setup. There is low barriers to entry, because there is anybody can, there's no investment required. You just need a bag or a jhola to collect the recyclables, and there are intermediaries, there are scrap dealers at various places. So there is no barrier, there is no requirement of any instrument, any technology, any infrastructure, and you don't have to also go anywhere, because waste dumping is done at most of the places. In the big cities you will find, in the markets you go, you find, in the public places you find. So there is no barrier, and there is a high demand for recyclables, because as it has been told just now, that it's a thriving industry. We need paper to recycle. We need somebody to collect the plastic bottles so that we can recycle it and put it into some use. So who is going to collect all that? So here is the role of this thing. There is lack of government regulations and social exclusion and marginalization. So because of all these factors, the poor people who come to the cities, they are not given avenues for employment, and in these situations what happens is that they are forced to work in this environment. And what do? If you look into their roles, is that they have a huge role. They are actually the pillars of our waste management whole sector. And when it comes to identifying their role, most importantly, they help in waste collection and recycling. They move from door to door, street to street, market to market, and everywhere you find that they collect the valuables, and therefore they help in the recycling also. Had these people not been there, then the whole of the resources that we are getting from these waste materials has gone waste. So therefore they help us a lot, and this type of recycling has got its own environmental and economic benefits also. And there is a flexibility. When it means to flexibility is that most of the times they can switch over between different types of waste streams. It is not like that, since it is not formalized, so therefore they are free to choose the waste stream that they are collecting. They are also free to sell to the scrap dealer whoever they are getting. So whoever gives them more money, they give the recyclable stuff to them. So this becomes a kind of a flexible work environment. All they want is that they collect and they are paid for the collection which they are doing. But we must acknowledge that they have a huge role in the waste collection and recycling, which is very, very important. Second is waste recovery rates. You know that the waste streams, what are being thrown away in the landfills, they are the resources. Huge amount of inputs have gone into the production of these substances, water, energy and other type of inputs. When the recycling is being done, it leads to higher recycling because of their activities, because of their functions and the recyclables which they are bringing. We are able to when we study and we look at the recycling rate of paper and plastic and other articles, the increase in the recycling rate is only made possible because we are getting the waste streams with the help of these waste pickers and the waste collectors. They help in the material recovery. Otherwise, every time we have to go for fresh mining of various metals, we have to go for fresh production of different type of materials and articles. So here what they are helping is that they help in the material recovery. So that is why their job is not collecting and helping us to recycle it, but in one way or the other they are also saving the resources. They are helping us in material recovery, and most of the material recovery centers which are operational today are taking the contributions from the informal workers, and therefore it also helps in the efficiency of the collection by the efforts of the government. Now what is happening is that we have made provisions for wet, dry, recyclable waste. Little maybe, but wherever it is collected separately, it helps the collection efficiency. So they help to collect the recyclables, and they have the economic contribution as well. Why economic contribution? Because in today's time, there is nothing which is a waste. Everything is a resource, whether it is the torn paper or whether it is a discarded plastic bottle. It is a resource. So when we make an attempt to collect it, to recycle it, follow the principles of circular economy and bring it back into the market, we are saving money out of it. We are saving the raw material and we are also saving the money. So the role of informal sector in waste management is often seen that they collect it and they clean the environment. But most important, we must also recognize that their economic contribution is also noteworthy, and therefore efforts should be made to pay them equally, because they are helping us in the, you can call it economically, we are saving so much by recycling that they also deserve that they get money out of it. Management cost is reduced. Landfills, otherwise we would have required more number of landfills. We would have required more area under landfills, which certainly is not the case because of the active participation of the informal sector, and they help to create the livelihoods. If we are able to regulate it, if we are able to see that we have mainstreamed the waste management sector as a whole, then it is a very big industry which can generate large number of livelihoods. Lot of job opportunities are existing in this sector, in the sector of different aspects of the waste management, where the waste is collected, where it is sorted, where it is transported, where it is disposed, where it is finally treated. At every step there is a role of the informal sector which they are doing. But if you are able to streamline them, if you are able to train them properly, if you are able to equip them with good infrastructure, good machinery, then they can play a huge role. And it also has an economic multiplier effect, because these informal sector bring the raw materials, they help the scrap dealers, the recycling units, and in this way it has got a multiplier effect. Everywhere the economy is boosted, everywhere the economic gains are very much visible. So therefore it is important. There are environmental benefits. There is no denying that they help to purify the environment, they clean the environment. Otherwise the waste is burnt, it leads to air pollution, or otherwise it is thrown in the water bodies, it leads to water pollution. So one of the important contribution of the informal sector in waste management is that they help to clean the environment. They reduce the need of the landfills. They clean the landfills. They take away the recyclables from it. They promote recycling, and therefore in one way or the other they are also saving the resources, and they're promoting the circular economy. They conserve the resources, because every time a resource, a material is manufactured, the resources go into it. Water, energy, other type of metals, all these things are required. But thanks to the informal sector, because with their help what we are doing is that we are able to reduce the need for the virgin materials. We can recycle them. So that it puts less strain on the environment. It reduces the pollution, of course, it is rightly said, and it helps in the circular economy also. But we must also notice that there are challenges. The challenges are many. Socio-economic challenges are there because we have not recognized them. They are marginalized. They work in unsafe conditions. Whatever work they are doing, that is not legalized, and therefore they do not receive any insurance benefits. They do not receive any health benefits. They do not receive any retirement benefits. They work in the poor conditions. There's totally unsafe conditions. So without any protective garments, without any ventilation, without any proper infrastructure, all this is the unsafe environment where they are working, and therefore they suffer various injuries. There are health related problems occurring to them. The women are susceptible, and for those that they are suffering from occupational diseases, they are suffering from various type of cancers, they have burns and scars on the fingers, and various the disease ailments continues and grows to their families also. So because of all these factors, the health related problems are a huge concern, because of the fact that we have no arrangement for their suitable working conditions. And there are if you look into the factors, at one end we have just now seen that they help in the environmental cleanup, but the way they are working and the manner in which they are doing the recycling whole business, that is actually creating problems, that is actually leading to environmental pollution, because there is unsafe handling of the waste, there is limited knowledge. They have not received any training on the waste management. They are not aware of the do's and don'ts of handling the different types of waste streams. What they know is the outdated technology, the harmful technologies, which is putting a burden on the health and the environment as well. So all these type of things are very, very important, and therefore with end we can conclude that informal sector is at a critical juncture today. They are doing a lot, working a lot, and towards waste management, their role and contribution is immense. But we need to formalize their roles. We need to foster partnerships, public-private partnership. These type of models should emerge, and we must look for the innovative approaches by which we can not only enhance the waste recovery, but like this, we can also improve the lives of the millions of the workers who are indulged in waste management in this sector. Thank you so much.